Welcome to Humanity Unboxed. I apologize, I have made us late. We were talking um, creativity with Michaell Magrutsche. Welcome, Michaell. It's always great to see you.
Thank you. I'm
We
happy to be here
Yes,
in cyberspace.
in cyberspace, yeah, where we can create without control.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think we need some version of control or control? What is control? Control
Okay.
is
Control is the opposite of love.
yes.
That's the opposite of love. It's just you're afraid of love, and therefore you try to control it because love is creativity, and it's just it doesn't have any given structure, linearity, or anything. It is a feedback vibration,
Mm,
a feedback vibration of that you imbalance. So when you see animals play with each other and loving each other, because that's they drive there automatically. They get in balance and then they play around and do things and monkeying around, and that's why it's so the opposite. I mean, we talked about we talked about and really I invite anybody to contradict me or say it's flawed that we are collaborative creator species of nature.
yeah.
Collaborative creator species of nature. And you see that in, you know, in New York, even though they were all controlled, right? The people that built New York, right? They were
Yeah.
the big guys, the Vanderbilts and all these families, and
Hmm.
even they controlled it. But if there was no passion to get the job and do that job on the high rising, there is a passion. If that passion was distinct, which you saw in COVID, where
Yeah.
people all of a sudden don't want to go back to work
Yeah.
uh, because they saw they can better create by themselves in their own homes, with their own people, then there wouldn't be anything standing in this world. So it's always what we are. We are the collaborative creator species. We can't do anything else. So when we said that, when a businessman comes and says, I'm not a creative guy like you guys. I'm a businessman. I said, you wouldn't even call yourself a businessman if you weren't creative. So the whole world is creative.
Hmm.
There are creative species in
Hmm.
all kinds of things: science, technology, linear, everything, AI, everything. But they don't see themselves as that's the essence. Creativity is the essence.
But do we create if we are doing it for someone else? Is there creation or creative expression when we are in a job? We're going to work and we're doing, and this is the control that I'm talking about, I suppose. Um, because it's like, okay, from 9 to 5, you need to sit at your desk and you
Yeah.
need to do certain things. And how much of that is creation, because we all one of one, because we're all different. So we create differently. As soon as we are boxed, we lose a lot of that
The
create.
boxing, we said, the systemizing, the boxing, the say, creativity is a flow of the collective unconscious, right? And
Yeah.
when the collective unconscious doesn't say, hey, there's no time in the collective, there's no space in the collective connection. It just said, okay, I'm gonna put you, when Google did all these creative spaces and all the things, you can just do whenever you want, which was closer to what to open that up. But still, when you're 24 hours at work, even if you get all the food there, you can sleep there, you can do this, it's controlled. It's controlled that they force you. Also, creativity and the other collective is not, when you, I mean, we proved it here in our series.
Mm.
When nothing comes in, nothing comes in. I'm not forcing something has to come in right now. And if it doesn't come in right now, then the episode, we can the episode.
Yeah.
No,
Or it has
that's
to be exactly to the script,
yeah,
if
and it
there
has to
was
be
a script.
exactly 25 minutes. If it's not 25 minutes, so any control is the opposite of, because it's opposite of love, because love
Yeah.
is a flow, it's flowing. And
Yeah.
so when you force it into a box, and that's what it always is. When in a box, creativity cannot bloom. Also, creativity needs to rest so that you can actually allow it in. So
Yeah.
yesterday I was on the beach, and I didn't think about everything. I just worked with the fire, grilled stuff,
Yeah.
be outside, watch the waves, and try to be aware of how everything creates. And it's all in a flow of nature and humans. Because, even, and you look very much in that unseen thing like astrology and, where people find the patterning of how energy flows, in
Yeah.
astrology.
But connection, looking at the pattern which shows us or connects us to the outer and the
Yeah,
inner world, because the outer and the inner world are connected, but we get so busy and sidetracked and overwhelmed by the noise that we forget about those connections, or we don't tap into them because they're always
yeah.
there.
But but
Yeah.
but but my sister Veronica, she is the same as you. She's very much into astrology and all this stuff. But she's like
Mm.
you. She said there's no absolute. It's that because there
No.
can be so many influences that we are just not aware. There could be a total new energy grid, that actually makes astrology really valuable, but we are not aware of it.
Yeah.
So it's that's what you and I were.
Yeah.
It's awareness is the highest intelligence, not knowledge. And so
Yeah.
how do you take when you are Gemini? How you take that, you know, and
Mm.
how it just can give you little insights, little awareness when you resonate with
Yeah.
that. So let's say, you know, I'm a Scorpio, and I'm not a Scorpio, but if you're a Scorpio
No.
and you see, there's something with death, there's something with, so Scorpios can be very strong and very thing, but I know Scorpios, they're not like this, but most Scorpios, right? So the generalizing and
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
yeah.
then writing it down. See, I would say astrology has to develop further. It cannot stop, because when it stops,
But the astrology is no. Let me say it this way: our understanding of astrology needs to
yeah,
develop further, because our understanding and awareness is where the boxing
yeah,
comes in. Because you're not just a Scorpio. For example,
exactly,
I'm a Sagittarius, it's my sun, but my moon is
yeah,
Capricorn. So that puts a completely different aspect to it. And then my ascending is
yeah,
Aries. But now, when there are certain planetary movements and I'm not understanding why I'm feeling a certain way, then I can often track it back as to, on my chart, this planet is in this house, and therefore this is how
yeah.
it's playing out for me in this moment. But me in this moment is unique and not the same as everyone else that has a sun in Sagittarius or a moon in Capricorn or
And
Aries
isn't that
ascending.
somehow a
Um,
control too, about the unconsciousness of us? We don't want any uncertainty, and through the we're looking for certainty in our experience, right? Our physical experience, and the astrology gives us more.
but it's never Yeah, but it's never all the
Yeah,
information. So these are just
because we're
snippets of it,
expanding,
which can
right?
help my awareness, but it doesn't give me it doesn't give me a definite
For your uncertainty, for
in
your
any
living in the uncertainty.
answer.
And that's why
Yeah,
the, the one guy said to me, 8 billion people are afraid of living, because we are so pushed into the control, and what we can see, this guy did, the policeman gave this person thing, he was in control, and it doesn't matter how smart you are, you get the ticket, and so when
yeah,
we are conditioned by that, then we feel,
yeah,
I cannot change anything. I cannot be creative. I have to game the system. And that's why gaming the system is a creativity that is used to control, because nobody can game a system. And then people come out, and there's always like a new chess player that does something that, and you saw that with AI with Go, the 20, whatever the move, because nobody for thousands of years nobody played Go like that, and then the computer did something, and because creativity says always yes, it always says yes. It might not work
because it never gives into control. It might happen within control, but as soon as it gives into control, and this is where the love letter to the unknown comes, because it's almost seeking the unknown in its expression, because that is where we create, because we can't create anything that we know. If we only stick with what we know, we can't
we stand
create.
still in this test. We stand still, that's test. And that's what's in the box. The box forces it stand still. Because and the self-destruction, because we are by nature that collective creative species of nature, and when we create in the box, then we first use our creativity to win, to game the system, and the next step would be total self-destruction and standstill, which be death. And people are not aware. I hope we make people aware about this. And I didn't think about that, but with you, I get this stuff in, and so that's the stuff. And then see, it's the uncertainty that was sold so much by boxing. The uncertainty. There's so much uncertainty that was created by boxing. In nature, you don't have a lot of uncertainty. You don't want to be caught and eaten in nature, but there's no uncertainty. Everybody is always blooming, and nature is actually also, nature is growing constantly. It's always in balance in sustaining. Why can we human not integrate that? Because we went into other realms, like creating New York, creating stuff. We didn't just stay in tribes. We were creating street signs. We found out stuff. We discover things, in our experience.
Yeah. So can I throw something in here quick?
No, put it up. I'm just a loudspeaker. I'm not.
But now, so this is something that I've been playing with today, specifically, actually, around the yin and the yang, right? So yin and yang are two aspects of energy, let's say, and we could put it back to a feminine, yin being the feminine and yang being the masculine. Now, for these to be in balance, because they always exist
in movement and flow.
Movement, there's the dance between them constantly. Yet there's a lot of wounding in our expression or our experience of this dance. The yin, the feminine, is wounded by the masculine is wounded by the feminine. So the one tries and fulfills both roles, while the other one kind of ends up taking over and not connecting with possibly the yin or the feminine, now just let me now think how we were bringing. Yes, so in this finding balance in between the yin and the yang, between the masculine and the feminine, there is a pullback and a push forward constantly, in this dance, in this movement. But we'll never get it to be in the creative flow, be two together, unless we address that wounding, unless we address the fact that we are different, and that's how it's supposed to be.
That's why we say 101, right? That's why we say it's 8 billion people that all have a sliver. And by dancing, we find out what the other sliver of the whole is.
Yeah, but now what brought me here was what you were saying around we got disconnected. We got pulled into this yang energy, which is productivity, which is making stuff to make more and do all this stuff. which created this wounding with the feminine, who is now completely disconnected in males as well. This is not a gender role. And this is where the integration needs to, we need to take it all the way back there and go, how do we sit into that, and connect the two so that they, and I don't like this word, but it's the only one that kind of fits here, so that they feel safe with each other.
Yeah, safe in the imbalance, because see, this is what's missing, I think. This is coming in. So the thing is, being safe in the imbalance by knowing that balance is the highest point, but that is not in the yang energy, in the two masculine, because it's going just further, and you heard what I sent you, where it says the feminine will have the contact with basically other thing, and the masculine will work towards the third world war, which is, I don't believe that, but because I think we are woken up too much already, but we see the imbalance, and when it's too imbalanced, we never say balance. We look where systems say balance,
but we don't know balance. We don't know. We've never experienced balance.
We experience here. I experience with you the dance.
Yes, but as humanity, as a collective unconscious, I don't think we know what it feels like to experience balance within society or within our constructs of society.
We haven't been aware of balance, because when I look at nature, right, I see the balance in nature, which I never saw before. When I thought, like everybody thought, we are above nature, we can change nature, we can do chemtrails, we can do everything. I thought the same thing, but when I look at things, I see the superpower of the universe and nature is the expanding and the contracting, and not being afraid, and with the target, as long as we go back to balance, we're good. We can, and I think in that is also the creativity. We can go to yin or to yang. We can move in this direction, because we know, and we have courage to go in both directions, because we know what's safe is balance. But nobody thinks balance is safe. Nobody thinks that.
But we need to, and this is where the trust comes in again as well, because we can only believe in that balance if we know that we are safe, or we trust that we can be safe within
if nature can be safe, we can be safe. Nature is big. We are part of nature.
We're told nature can't be safe because we've been told by the systems
in the box
that we need to be in the box, and we'll only be safe in the box. But we have to unbox ourselves so that we can embrace this. What did I say? The love letter to the unknown. So we need to find ways where we can love the unknown and seek it, because
it's our survival.
We don't know anything.
The unknown is our survival, and we fear it, because that's why humanity Unboxed is exactly what we're doing. I always look at our thing. I said, no, we're exactly doing that, and that's the issue is we are afraid of going either in the too much feminine, too much masculine, and we are afraid of imbalance so much, because today you don't have to have any fear, because the system is saying, oh, I give you a fire insurance, I give you this, whatever happened, if your husband dies, I give you life. It's called, the life insurance is death insurance, and if that happens in death, it's like there should never be any imbalance, but the system creates the biggest imbalance.
Yeah, and we need to embrace the imbalance, because it's never both equally in the same amount. It is this movement. But this is where this broken marketing and sales systems have come in to create an imbalance and then provide a solution, because and
everything that's human
it
is
doesn't
a
work
business. It's imbalanced. Like,
yeah
you know, you're not getting healed by the healthcare. You're getting out of
no
balance, and it's a
no
business.
money in that.
It makes you
There's no money in being healthy.
There should never cost any money to be healthy. Nothing. It should be, you know, people should not. They think now, oh my God, because of all the stuff that happens in America, they think, oh, all the hospitals should be empty. Wow, that's a success. That's not a failure. You know, that is the human, and they don't see it. They're not aware of it. Instead of saying, oh, all the hospital, all the people that work there. No, that is the biggest breakthrough. If you have empty hospitals, you know that your people are in balance. They'll not have to go.
But that's also context, though. You can't have the people dying on the street and saying that my
No,
hospitals are empty.
absolutely. Yeah, it's the context. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, you know, this is all of a sudden, we solved that problem. We solved it. We have a couple of healthcare things, small healthcare things all over, but we don't have big hospitals anymore because, you know, perhaps one, you know, it's just a perception, whatever you perceive. It's all an illusion anyway. It's all illusion anyway.
Exactly. But I mean, our existence is an illusion, really. You know, we came here to experience this life, and that is the illusion. But what are we taking from it? Are we experiencing it? All of that.
Yeah, but I like to experience my illusion. I really do, because you know, every moment is neutral. We give it meaning. And you see with me, you know, I can give it meaning and can die about the insecurity, or I can just be me and just keep moving. Yeah. And there's no safety that I can be, or anybody of us can be dead in a week. You know, there can't be any guarantee. But you go outside and you try to balance, and that's why looking for. So, for example, this is put you totally honest. If you don't get a job, right? You don't get a job. You do everything to get a job, which gets you more out of the balance. You know, it's like, what do I need to get balanced first? Then a job will come, and then the job will be aligned with me. So the awareness of not just saying, when it's thing, you have to do the system stuff, the boxing stuff. You know, when you're depressed, you have to go to a doctor, and it gives you it gives you antidepressants or whatever, which is not getting you in balance. It's taken away your emotions, but it doesn't take away the issue, the cause. It never looks at the cause.
No, because there's no profit in doing that, and that is us moving away from ourselves as well, going to someone outside. I mean, if it was someone you could trust, that would be one thing, but often it's not. It is a system, which you can't trust systems because they are.
And you can't trust even, you know. This is so funny, because I saw a friend of mine. He had a lung infection. They think he needs to get a lung replaced, one half a lung replaced. And we know that when you get a lung, when you get a foreign substance, you need to get the body you need to control the body, right? There's the word, control the body, that the body accepts that foreign thing, because it doesn't want to accept anything. And he knows the surgeon. He's a very good surgeon, all, you know, super, all the things. And he trusts him. But it's still an opinion. I said, listen to your body. Listen to your body. Don't go in the brain and say, okay, because he said I need to get my lung exchanged. And that gives me, and this is so linear. It says it gives me 10 more years that I can live. Is that important? And I mean, how you live? Because if you live, get the lung exchange. And how many people do you know that have exchanged lung and live really well? This is what I would look. I would go to anybody that has new kidneys or anything new and say, hey, how does it? Do you even feel it? Said, no, I have to take a medication. I'm good. But I want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't want to, because it feels like we have no connection from another human being, and that even if I had that and everything is like perfect, I could die on the table, on the operating table.
Yeah, or the day after, by or
Resenting it.
whatever. And this is part of our control, though, isn't it? Because we think that being alive is the
prize. It's the
the game
prize.
plan.
It's again fine.
Yeah, but yeah, because I mean, if we see death as part of life, because it's a movement, it's a balance, it's not a scary thing. I wish we could move away from that idea. Look at the possibly because we just can't speak to people that have kind of transitions, or we do, but we don't trust the fact that there is a connection.
I told that before the show. I said we humans don't, even from the earliest times, there were always some humans, a couple of humans, we don't know if they're really the leaders, but they were having other people do their work, enslaving other people to do their work. It was not it was before the Greeks, before the Romans. Why is, and this is the answer we should really ask, because what I think is systems and AI especially shows us, I mean, people really believe that AI can be replacing a human. And I say, okay, I take the challenge, replace me. There's no, or replace you. I would never go to the best AI that even I don't know and say, I will have this conversation with Michaell on an AI. This Michell's AI. And Michaell is somewhere else in South Africa having fun. I would never, ever do that because I'm human.
Yeah, but we can simulate it. You can pretend it to be that. Just because it's not true doesn't mean it can't be shown.
Yeah.
And this is where I am not worried, but we have to choose humanity. We have to choose humanness on a daily basis, and not think that machine or machine learning or any of that is making us better. It is a tool that we can use, but we can't incorporate it or integrate it into
personality in the
ourselves.
soul.
Because we will lose our humanness, and that is what makes us
alive.
real.
Makes us life. It makes us living. Because I can be a specialist in motors. Let's say I'm a motor mechanic and I use AI to be the best mechanic ever. Okay, but that's not life. Mechanic is a part of life. It's and that to exchange, and this is that we go so far, like all these leaders go so far, they really believe it. See, again, the top is the most disturbed. The top of leaders is always the most disturbed. And they go and say, yeah, how great it would be if you have a AI friend and do this stuff. For somebody that is really disconnected, it might be, right? Somebody that is very system relevant, having an AI robot would be great. But I believe that, you can actually go through our thing. AI could never have a dance like you and I. Never, ever. Because we talk in realms in different contexts. It cannot. It can go in one dark context. Selfishness, control, whatever. But we shifting love, control, boxing, all these stuff, and it can't do that. It can't do art, for example.
Yeah, but even if it could, it's still not you or me.
It's a
even
copy.
if it could,
It's a copy.
look like it does.
I want to have Michaell and Michaell, a combination of their art. Yeah, you can have that with AI. It makes it perfectly. You and I couldn't even do that, because it just. But it wouldn't be. It would be neither you or me. It would be. But if we co-create something, it wouldn't even be better than that, because in the co-creation is a process where We go out balance, imbalance, out balance, illness, and we project that into a song. We project that into a thing, and that gives you, when the viewer then comes and says, "Hey, Michaell and Michelle's art, co-creation," they get it. It's like our episode, our podcast, right? It's you and me. It's not an AI mixture of two people.
No. And I mean, the creativity in that isn't necessarily the outcome or the piece or the thing that's produced. It is the changes that's happening within me and the changes that is happening within you in that process, which you can't quantify. You can't put it down and
it's on so an exponential level. If you want to do this with how strong your computer is. Think about 8 billion people. The variance of 8 billion people. AI is out. It has to control. It has to commoditize. It has to group. AI cannot exist without patterning. And we have patterns. We run on patterns, but an 8 million variation of those. You put when we talk, you put a human into a corner, it kills you. You have the cutest dog, it will bite you because the DNA takes over. The collective conscious, you need to survive. We want everyone to survive, everybody being in balance. And that's so there's a lot of hope if you really get aware, because I'm not afraid. Are you afraid of things? No, we are concerned. We want the people not to be unaware, because unawareness is the killer, really.
Well, we also want, I am not afraid, but I am worried about our planet. I'm worried what we are doing to disrupt this balance, blocking out the sun and nonsense like that. That worries me, and it makes it.
I love that you said that, because we have so many satellites. Don't they block out the sun already enough? And nobody takes the two. Nobody takes the two things. I said, we're talking about the also, when you do war, it's the worst for the environment, right? For everything. It's humans, infrastructure, and pollution, right? Destruction of nature and humans is war. You cannot be on climate change and on war at the same time, because that's just a waste of money. That's just, and again, we elevate so we're not valuing humanity. What's actually really is, we don't value, that's why with the slaves and the thing, and we don't value humanity. If we would actually look at 101, that we are 8 billion 101, and what you can get when you actually dance with each other, the money gets less and less important. It's not about the profit or whatever.
But the value gets more and more.
I think that's what we're going actually through right now. That because we said the AI, the humans are not where it can be replaced. So that humans are forced with their creativity. It's just a problem, because when the poorer the people are, the more crime you have, because they have to survive. They go into DNA and the crime is. And I don't understand why a leader that is in politics does not look at that. They said the poorer the people, the more criminal. The harder the.
They don't care.
No, they're not aware. I don't think they don't care. I think they're not aware. They just want to survive themselves. They are already in the flight, and they want to.
Yeah, they don't care. I come from a country where the president is worth, I think, $450 million in a country where people are dying from not having water. He doesn't care. He just wants to line his pockets.
To survive. I think he wants to survive.
But he's surviving, I promise you.
It's never enough. You know that. It's never enough. That's his condition.
But
his condition.
He makes choices. There are choices made, and they are not for the people. They are for the bank account. So
but then he's totally unaware. Because if you're not in touch that you're part of nature, if you're in touch that you are a part of nature, you cannot be system relevant only. And obviously you say he's so unconscious that he doesn't care. I can tell myself.
Well, I don't know if there are leaders
No, they're
that
not
are.
leaders, because
I
a
mean,
coward knows
politicians.
that
You have
a
to say
coward knows that he's a coward. And I think it's such a
that.
hybrid. A leadership today is such a hybrid, because a coward knows he's a coward, right? But a leader, that's not a leader. That is a manipulated status in systems, that actually where the system is supplying you with, and you can be creative. See, you can be creative because, hey, I can say anything, right? You're a leader, I'm a leader. It doesn't cost it. We can do a war. It doesn't really matter. We can play. So you never had to work for the value. If you had to work to have the money to create a war, there wouldn't be wars. None. If the leaders had to
Yeah.
work to get the money to have a war, they would never have to work. It's only because money is not worth anything. And money, if I have access to money, that's why you forget your humanity. That's the seduction of system relevance. Is once you're system relevant, who cares? I'm famous. I can do everything. And then when people do everything, all the sex stuff and transporting of people and stuff, that you use humans as a moneymaker. You use homeless. You use thing as a moneymaker, and that's an unawareness. I'm not saying they're bad or whatever. We see it's bad. Everybody knows it's bad, but nobody does anything about it, because it's what the system says. Repeat, 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 repeat.
Yeah, or the ones that see that it's it's not beneficial to the bigger picture, but there's no power. This is why I dislike this word help
Yeah,
so much. No one
yeah,
needs help. They need empowerment. They need to be shown or uplifted into their
yeah,
own power, because everybody has wisdom and power and all of these things that is being helped
yeah,
or given from a higher perspective,
yeah.
as if there's anybody that's better than
And it's
someone
just
else.
perception. I want to end on a good note. It's all perception. It's not
Yeah,
something, oh, and now I have to do this. If you listen to our 46, 7 episodes, you will see what we see. You will see the power of humanity, the power of your 101, the power of art, the power of creativity, that we are collective, a collaborative, creative species of nature. We give you these little seedings that help you to navigate life and really live by talking to other people, by interacting to other people, by not judging other people, by saying, hey, it's all, if I don't like this person, it's okay. I can go to another. It's 8 billion people. They're all 101. They're not the
yeah,
same. So one black person and one Chinese person is not the same as the other. They're good and bad everywhere.
exactly. So talk to
Talk to
strangers.
strangers. No, just be happy and greet people and say hi,
Yeah, exactly. Connect.
connect.
Thank you,
You're
Michael.
welcome. That
Yes.
was, it was intense, but, I,
Yeah.
I, I
Well, it's balance.
yeah,
We can't. We have to kind of do the uncomfortable sometimes and
you will never
dive a little bit.
hear from us, from you and me, you will never hear it can be solved. Everything can be solved because we are creative with
Yeah,
creativity
but
into balance. We can always push it into balance. And it doesn't need to be now all of a sudden, tomorrow is the world healthy. Just a little bit. Because power is, when you look at power, right, it's only very little. Because the power doesn't need to show it's a power. It doesn't need to have an impact. Tomorrow, America and England is good because you and I talk. No. Right?
South Africa,
Oh,
wouldn't that be
yeah.
nice? All South African
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
solved and
Yeah.
everybody gets along and
Yeah.
has
Yeah, but
everything they
why do
need.
they fight in
That
because of segregation. We have to stop the segregation.
because of imbalance. Because of imbalance. Because some people and resources that are being
Yeah,
misused
yeah,
and corruption and
yeah,
all these things. But the people are the beautiful part of,
exactly. Of the world,
South
yeah,
Africa specifically.
beautiful. People are
Yeah,
the
of the
greatest.
world.
People are the greatest.
Yeah.
They have free will. That's hard, but we are the greatest. We're just not aware. That's why we have Humanity
Yeah,
Unboxed.
and that's
That's why we have Humanity Unboxed. Get aware, get in balance. Get aware and get in balance. Let's go on, new talk.
Thanks,
you.
Michaell.